Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has expressed concerns in an interview with ABC News that Russia may stage an explosion at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to halt Ukrainian advances on the battlefield. While the International Atomic Energy Agency has not found evidence to support Ukraine's claims, Zelensky emphasized the need for transparent access to the facility. Ukrainian officials previously accused Russia of sabotaging another power plant in June. The situation is being closely monitored, but experts believe the risk of a radiation-related public health crisis is unlikely. The shooting death of a 17-year-old French Algerian during a traffic stop has ignited protests across France, raising concerns about the use of deadly force by police. Riots broke out, resulting in violence, fires, and hundreds of arrests. The protests have focused on police brutality, particularly against minorities, echoing the global wave of demonstrations sparked by the killing of George Floyd in the United States. While the initial protests were violent, the intensity has subsided in recent days. The team behind the popular Netflix series, Peaky Blinders, has criticized Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for using a clip from the show in a recent political ad that appears to target the LGBTQ+ community. The team stated that the clip featuring Cillian Murphy's character was used without permission or an official license, and they do not support or endorse the ad's narrative. DeSantis has faced backlash for his stance on anti-LGBTQ+ legislation. Record-breaking heat waves are occurring globally, with the average global temperature reaching 62.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Climate change impacts, particularly wildfires, have exceeded expectations. Forest fire expert Mike Flanagan highlights the exceptional scale of wildfires in Canada, burning nearly 9 million hectares, and warns that the fires will continue throughout the summer, affecting millions with smoke. Rising temperatures lead to longer fire seasons, more lightning-caused fires, and drier fuels, resulting in higher intensity and harder to extinguish fires. As the world warms, the frequency and severity of wildfires are expected to increase worldwide. A new study by the U.S. Geological Survey reveals that at least 45% of tap water in the United States is estimated to be contaminated with forever chemicals, known as PFAS. Exposure to these synthetic compounds has been linked to adverse health effects, including an increased risk of cancer. The study tested water samples from over 700 locations across the country and found widespread PFAS contamination, particularly in urban areas. The EPA has proposed regulations to address this issue. Willard Miller, a teenager from Iowa, has been sentenced to life in prison for killing his Spanish teacher, Noema Graber, with a baseball bat. Miller and his county defendant attacked Graber after she marked down his work. Miller pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and was charged as an adult. The judge rejected claims that Miller's age should mitigate the severity of his actions. Miller expressed remorse, but was sentenced to a minimum of 35 years before parole eligibility. Goodale's sentencing is scheduled for August. Russian jets flew dangerously close to U.S. drones for the second time in less than 24 hours over northwest Syria, according to the U.S. military. The Russian aircraft dropped flares and engaged in sustained and unprofessional interactions, endangering the safety of all involved. The U.S. Air Force's Central Command has called on Russia to cease such reckless behavior and adhere to professional standards. Both countries operate in Syria, with the U.S. focusing on combating the Islamic State and Russia supporting President Assad. The United States plans to send cluster munitions to Ukraine as part of an $800 million military aid package. The decision aims to assist Ukrainian forces in pushing back Russian troops along the front lines. While cluster bombs have faced opposition due to their impact on civilians, proponents argue that the reduced dud rate of the munitions to be provided will minimize unintended civilian casualties. The move is expected to alleviate pressure on Ukrainian and allied stocks and provide a more effective option against heavily fortified Russian positions. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen aims to improve communication and stabilize relations with China during her visit. Yellen plans to raise concerns about China's punitive measures, including increased subsidies for state-owned enterprises, barriers to market access for foreign firms, and potential export controls on critical minerals. While the visit is not expected to yield significant breakthroughs, it aims to de-escalate misunderstandings.